Fast food restaurants are magnets for those looking to scam some big cash. From disagreements over napkins to wrong orders and contest crime rings, here are some of the worst offenders when it comes to fast food scams and hustles that totally failed. In 2003, two teenagers tried to sue McDonald's for making them obese. That's right, quarter pounders don't make you skinny. According to the New York Times, Jaslyn Bradley and Ashley Pellman were regulars at two McDonald's locations in the Bronx and argued that they weren't provided with, quote, sufficient information about the health risks linked to a diet of Big Macs and fries. The judge ultimately ruled the two teens were responsible for their own diet choices, saying, "Nobody is forced to eat at McDonald's." This opinion is guided by the principle that legal consequences should not attach to the consumption of hamburgers and other fast food fare unless consumers are unaware of the dangers of eating such food. At the time, McDonald's patrons had to visit the company's website for nutritional information. The restaurant began posting calorie totals for all of its items on the in-store menus back in 2012. So now there's really no excuse for playing dumb with the calories in your order of fries. In 2014, a California man brought a $1.5 million lawsuit against the Golden Arches because he was allegedly only given one napkin with his meal. According to Law Street, Webster Lucas said that when he asked for more napkins, the manager refused and told him he'd already had enough. That's when things got ugly. Lucas, who is African American, claimed that the manager, who is Hispanic, showed prejudice towards him. Lucas told him, "I didn't come here to argue over napkins, I came here to eat." Which is when the manager allegedly mumbled something about, quote, "you people." Lucas emailed the restaurant's general manager, who apologized and offered free burgers and presumably unlimited napkins, but it wasn't enough to heal Lucas's wounds. He later wrote, "I am unable to work because of the undue mental anguish and the intentional infliction of emotional distress caused by your employee." And then he filed his $1.5 million lawsuit. The lawsuit was dismissed in October 2014, but that wasn't the worst of it for Lucas. The case landed him on California's vexatious litigant list, prohibiting him from filing lawsuits for a period of time. If you've ordered a cheeseburger more than a few times in your life, you probably know that at some restaurants the cheese costs extra, while at others it's included. You probably shrug at the minimal charge, mostly because it's worth it to have your sandwich cheesed or uncheesed to your liking. Florida couple Cynthia Kistner and Leonard Werner, however, don't take cheese charges so lightly.
Two McDonald's customers are suing the chain for $5 million over unwanted quarter-pounder cheese.
According to Fox News, in 2018, the couple claimed that they had been charged the full price for a quarter pounder with cheese, even though they ordered it without cheese. In their minds, since McDonald's charges 30 cents more for a cheeseburger than a hamburger, they had been ripped off by the Golden Arches and were entitled to, well, $5 million for their alleged suffered injury. Despite their paper-thin argument that McDonald's had become, quote, unjustly enriched by these practices, the U.S. District Judge dismissed the lawsuit and called it absurd. The judge explained to Kistner and Werner that it's up to the customer to tap into the common sense part of their brain when ordering off the menu. One of the strangest cases of a person trying to pull a fast one on a fast food chain is the 2005 chili finger incident cooked up by Anna Ayala.
I usually crack all my crackers and just put them in there, mix it all around, and started eating the way usually people eat.
According to NBC, the woman was eating at a San Jose, California Wendy's when she claimed that she took a bite of chili that included a partially cooked piece of human finger.
As we started investigating, poking it, other people too, that's when we find that there's something that looks like a nail.
She pretty much ruined the idea of ever ordering Wendy's chili again for customers everywhere, and the story reportedly cost the fast food chain an estimated loss of $21 million. However, Ayala couldn't pull off the ruse and eventually confessed that her husband had gotten the severed finger from a co-worker who had lost it in a factory accident. Ayala said that she cooked the ring finger herself before dropping the digit into her bowl of chili and crying wolf. She was sentenced to 9 years in prison, though she served only 4, and was fittingly banned from Wendy's for life. Back in 2005, Jeremy Jackson attempted to become a multimillionaire when he sued McDonald's for putting cheese on his burgers. And clearly the man had a go big or go home attitude because he sued Mickey D's for a cool $10 million. According to West Virginia Record, Jackson said in his case that he repeatedly told the McDonald's staff not to put cheese on his 2 quarter pounders because he was allergic. Maybe Jackson annoyed the McDonald's employees, or maybe it was an honest mistake, but whatever the case, his burger had cheese, and he had to be rushed to a hospital because of an allergic reaction. It didn't take long for the story to raise suspicious eyebrows, with one over-lawyered opinion piece saying, so apparently the multiple preventative steps he took to assure his food did not contain cheese did not include looking at the damn sandwich before eating it. As you might have guessed, Jackson didn't get $10 million, and the case was eventually dismissed. One would imagine that when you're doing hard time, you have a lot of time to simply sit and think. You may even have a brilliant idea that the rest of the world would rejoice over and shower you with riches. If only you weren't behind bars. That's the predicament of Gary Cole, a supermax prison inmate in Colorado, who claims it was he, not some hotshot Yum Brands product development scientist, who thought of using Doritos as taco shells. According to the Dallas Observer, Cole is serving 25 years, but more importantly, he tried suing Taco Bell for stealing his Doritos Locos Tacos idea. Cole said he mailed his attorney a notarized document of the idea in 2006, and upon learning of the Doritos Locos Tacos, he demanded an FBI investigation. Spoiler alert, it didn't happen. Cole then contacted the IRS about the matter, telling them, "A check was made out to a person for a large amount by Taco Bell, Frito-Lay, and Pepsi for an idea or invention that was submitted to them by theft and fraud." He demanded the IRS give him the person's name and address. That didn't happen either. Cole decided to represent himself, but the case was dismissed under the 3 strikes rule that prohibits inmates from filing civil lawsuits if they've already filed 3 or more that have been dismissed while incarcerated. Apparently, he was passing his time in prison by filing frivolous lawsuits. If you've ordered a meal from a fast food place and it looked exactly as appetizing as in the commercial, consider it a miracle. The chances of snagging $20 million for a sad piece of junk food, however, are so slim that literally falling into a pit of $100 bills is probably more likely. Anna Wurzberger of Hopewell Junction, New York, brought a $20 million lawsuit against KFC for not serving her a bucket that was overflowing with chicken, despite seeing said bucket in KFC's commercials. According to the Poughkeepsie Journal, Wurzberger didn't just file her lawsuit after buying a single bucket, because that would be an amateur move, and she wanted her case to be bulletproof. Nope, Wurzberger said she made multiple purchases at her local KFC in 2016 after being sold KFC's commercial lies. According to her legal complaint, when she received the bucket of chicken, there were only 8 pieces of chicken in it. There was not enough chicken in the bucket to fill up the bucket. The ads falsely stated that the meal could feed your whole family. She argued that if it's going to overflow with just 8 pieces, a smaller bucket should have been used and that KFC owed her a check for $20 million. A New York judge granted KFC's request to dismiss the case for Wurzberger, failing to provide real evidence that a violation of the law had taken place. Never mind the fact that Subway was selling full-size hoagies for $5 and losing money by doing so, some of those sandwiches weren't precisely 12 inches. Thanks to a teen with a tape measure and too much free time, Subway's slightly less than a full-foot sandwich spawned a lawsuit for $500,000. According to Fox News, the whole fiasco started in 2013, when a teen exposed Subway's devious practices of selling 11-inch subs masquerading as footlongs by posting a photo to Facebook. It didn't take long for some attorneys from all over the US to jump on the opportunity and start measuring subs from various Subway restaurants. They all came up short, and Subway nearly had to hand over $525,000 in legal fees, after promising their breads would be a more uniform size.
If they're following the baking procedures, they should get this 12 inches out of the oven every single time.
The chain would have had to cough up the hefty fees if Judge Diane Sykes had not thrown out the settlement. Sykes noted that even with new protocols put into place by Subway, there was still the real possibility that some sandwiches could be shorter than advertised, since bread tends to change shape when it bakes. Like so many of the cases examined here, the judge chalked it up to the responsibility of customers using common sense.
I think size matters.
Shouldn't a glazed donut from Krispy Kreme be free of controversy? Apparently not, because Jason Sadian of California filed a lawsuit against the donut chain for false advertising with the berries, or lack thereof, used in the donuts he ordered. According to the Winston-Salem Journal, in the suit, Sadian said he purchased Raspberry Krispy Kreme donuts because raspberries are a rich source of vitamin C, vitamin K, potassium, and dietary fiber, and help fight against cancer, heart and circulatory disease, and age-related decline. If you need a moment to process the stupidity of his health strategy, we understand. Sadian wanted $5 million in damages and disgorging of profits made from the $1.09 donuts. Krispy Kreme's attorneys responded to Sadian's lawsuit with a tongue lashing, telling him, "No reasonable consumer would expect a donut to deliver the same level of antioxidants, for example, as green tea. Consumers also understand that donuts are desserts." Perhaps the sugar high from the donuts wore off, and Sadian realized his case would get him laughed out of court, because it was voluntarily dismissed. Between 1989 and 2001, former Georgia police officer Jerome Jacobson stole more than $24 million in prizes from McDonald's after taking a job with the company as a private security officer. According to Fox News, Jacobson was given the task of overseeing the prize stamp printing process and thus knew how to access the winning stamps of the popular McDonald's Monopoly game. He started sending the winning game pieces to friends and family across the country and would then take a cut of the winnings. A tip-off in 2000 eventually brought it all crashing down, and Jacobson and several others were arrested for mail fraud. He was eventually given a McJail sentence of 3 years in prison and ordered to pay back $12.5 million of the money he stole. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more MASH videos about your favorite fast food chains are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.